Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Algorithm Mind. My name is Asan Khurram, and in this channel I teach programming skills in Python, R and MATLAB programming. I also teach theoretical concept as well as practical programming skills in data science and data analysis. So I request you to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell icon button. So I have been posting series of videos or tutorial videos about R programming. These tutorial videos are specifically designed for beginners who are just getting started with R programming. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to discuss about looping and conditional statements in R programming. So in this tutorial, we will cover for loops, we will cover while loops and if and else statements. I will give you practical examples to demonstrate how to use these concepts. So first of all, let's move on and discuss about for loop. A for loop is used to iterate over a sequence of elements. For each element in the sequence, the loop executes the specific code block. Now I'm going to give you an example of how we can actually program a for loop in R programming. So first of all, I'm going to initialize a vector and store its value in variable name numbers. Okay, so we have a vector with the numeric values that starts from 1 to 5, and I have assigned it to numbers variable. Once I have done that, now I'm also going to initialize a variable named squared numbers, and I'm going to equate its value an empty vector. So later on we will store the squared value in that vector by using for loop. Now I have created a vector number. Now I have also created an empty vector and store its value in squared numbers. In order to write a for loop, this is the generic notation you are going to write. You will write for, then within those round brackets, you will write num in numbers. Okay, so the num will iterate over each element present in numbers. Okay, so this num can be anything. It could be num, it could be n, it could be I. So it's up to you how you actually want to write that for loop. It's not that important, but whatever the notation or whatever the variable you assign here, you are going to use the same thing in your for loop code body. Now I'm using num in numbers, so this will iterate over each element in the vector numbers. And this is how you write for loop: for num in numbers, then within those curly brackets you will define your for loop code body. Okay, and in this for loop code body, what I am doing, I'm calculating the square of number, then appending that value to the square number. With each iteration, every squared value will be added to square number and it will get updated. So basically I'm combining square number with the variable squared number with the variable num power 2. Okay, so for example, let's say that this loop starts with 0 values of squared number and it has 1. Okay, so when the loop runs for 1, it will calculate the square of 1, which will be the remain 1. Then it will concatenate it to the squared number. So now the updated value of squared number will be 1. And then when the loop runs for 2, now the squared number has a value 1 in it, and further value of 2 square, that is 4, will be added to square number, and this goes on until we reach 5. So that's how you actually write a for loop in R programming. Finally, I'm going to print its value by using this print function. So right now you can see that it has printed the square of the elements that are present in vector number. So we have 1, 4, 9, 16 and 25. So that's how you can actually write a for loop in R programming. Let's move on and discuss about while loop. A while loop repeatedly executes a block of code as long as a specified condition is true. Here we give an example to generate the first 10 Fibonacci number. So if you don't know about Fibonacci number, it's not a big issue. So just try to concentrate on the logic that we are going to create here. So first of all, I'm going to initialize a variable named counter and assign a value 1 to it. Then I'm also going to initialize a variable named Fibonacci, and I will assign first 2 values of the Fibonacci series in the form of vector to this variable name. Once I have done that, now I'm going to write a condition with while. So we have like, just like for, we have like while, and while we will use this statement here within those round brackets. So this is the statement that is used to be, that will be executed and that will be evaluated at every iteration, and this expression will be evaluated whether the length of Fibonacci sequence is less than 10. Initially the length of Fibonacci sequence is 2, which is less than 10, so the loop will continue on running, continue on executing till its value is equal to or greater than 10. Once the value is equal to 10, this while loop will terminate and it will not be executed. So while will evaluate this condition. If the value condition is true, it will execute the code body, then move on to the next iteration, and it keeps on going on until the condition is false. So here within this round bracket we have defined the expression length Fibonacci sequence should be less than 10. Okay. Okay, what if now the condition is true? So it will execute whatever the code body that is present within the curly brackets. So within the curly brackets we are actually doing calculation. First of all, we calculating the next number in the sequence by adding two previous numbers. So in our case, for example, let's say we have in the first iteration Fibonacci we will have 1 and we will have 2. So the 1 is value 0 and the 2 value is actually 1. So it will add, the next number will be actually 1. And what it will do, it will actually add this value to the next number. Okay, so that's how it is. Okay. So the next number will be added to the Fibonacci sequence by using this vector. So here Fibonacci's number is updated by this value, where Fibonacci is the existing vector added to next number. So that's how we are updating the Fibonacci. Then finally we are going to update the counter value as well. So in our case the next counter will be counter plus 1, which means 1 plus 1 it will be 2. So that's how we are going to update the value of Fibonacci sequence, and it will keep on executing till we reach the Fibonacci sequence has a length of 10. Once the sequence has a length of 10, it will terminate and the while loop will not be executed. So let me just run this block of code for you. Now you can see that it has generated the Fibonacci sequence starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and so on. If we have, for example, let's change this condition to 20. Now the loop will continue to run unless its length is less than 20. So that's how you can use while statement in R programming. Let's move on and actually discuss about if-else statement. So in order to actually exercise if-else statement, I have actually created a function here. So it is quite easy to create a function. So just you have to first initialize a variable name, then assign a value, and then write function. And within that function, you will pass the input argument. Whatever the input argument the function takes, you have to actually assign here. So once you define the format of function, this is how functions are created. Within those curly brackets, what you are going to do, we are going to write the code body of that function. Okay, so whenever the function is called and executed, the code body will be executed. Now we are going to write the code body of that function check number. So in that body we are going to write if and else statement. So just like while, where it evaluates the condition, in the same way if will evaluate the condition, which the condition will, the result of this evaluation will be either true or false. If the condition is true, then it will execute whatever is it present in the if body. If that is not true, then it will use if else and check another condition here, x less than 0. Okay, the first condition was x greater than 0. The second condition, it will check if that x is less than 0. And if that condition is true, it will execute the code body, whatever is present in if else. If that's not true, then what it will do, it will return 0, meaning that the number is actually a 0. So let's move on and actually test a few numbers For example, we have check number, which is actually the function, and we are passing input argument 5, -3 and 0. Let me run this block of code for you. Now you can see that the 5 was actually positive, and -3, what it will do, it will first see that x is greater than 0, which is not true. Then if it sees x is less than 0, which is true, it returns negative, and similar goes for 0. Now there is another concept of nested loops. We are going to use nested loop, and within those nested loop we are going to use a conditional statement, so just that you can exercise your concepts and skills and R programming more. So for this purpose, we have created a matrix by passing 3 input arguments. The first input argument is the length of elements, which starts from 1 and goes to 9, and with an interval of 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then the second input argument we are defining with that this matrix will have 3 rows, and the third input argument we are defining is the number of columns, that this matrix will have 3 columns. So it will have 3 rows and 3 columns. Now we are going to iterate over this matrix, where the outer loop with I will iterate our rows, and the inner loop with j will iterate our each column value. And within those each column value, it will check whether this matrix I comma j is divisible by 2 by using this statement. Okay. Basically, it means that if it's completely divisible by 2 with the remainder not equal to, with the remainder is equal to 0, if that condition is true, what it will do, it will update the matrix value with a new value where that matrix value is multiplied by 2. So basically, let me repeat that again. We are using nested for loop. The outer loop with the variable I will iterate our each row, and the inner loop with variable j will iterate our each column, and within those each column it will check whether the specific element is completely divisible by 2. If that's true, it will multiply that value with 2 and update the value. As you can see that matrix I comma j value is assigned to a new value where it is multiplied by 2, and the resultant matrix will be updated from this value. So now you can see that the even values are multiplied by 2. So I hope this tutorial have been helpful to you. If you have any questions regarding today's lecture or R programming, feel free to write down your comments. I will be happy to help you out. Soon I will be posting more videos regarding R programming. So I suggest you to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell icon button. Thank you for joining me, and I will catch you soon in the next video.